Whenever you start a sermon, they kind of tell you that you either start with a story or maybe some type of statistic, something to grab your attention. And today I'm gonna open up with a joke. Can I tell a joke in church? Is that okay? Do y'all think church should be fun? All right, well, this side over here, this side definitely ready. I don't know about you guys, but there we go. All right, I'm gonna start off by telling a joke. All right, there's three men and they're trapped on a desert island, best of friends. And a genie shows up and agrees to give them each one wish. And so he goes to the first guy and says, "What would you like?" And he thinks about it for a second and he decides, I wanna be 50-yard line AT&T Stadium to watch the Cowboys. Any Cowboy fans in here? All right, how about the Texans this year? There we go. All right, well, so poof, gone. He's at the 50-yard line. Amazing. Goes to the next guy, says, "Where would you like to go?" And this guy's a big family man. He misses his wife and kids. He said, "I would like to be eating family dinner in my house." Poof, gone. He's sitting at the family dinner table. So he goes to the third friend and says, "All right, last wish, what do you want?" And he thinks about it for a sec and he goes, "You know what? I really want to be with my friends." Poof, both men back on the island. Come on. That just goes to show what we're talking about today. The subject is our second core value, which is community, all right? You know, it's really important that we find the right people for us to do life with. We are in a vision series called We Are Redemption, where over this series, we're walking through our 5 core values as a church. Last week, we looked at worship as a core value. We learned that worship is not the songs that we sing, but rather the sacrifice that we bring. And so every single Sunday, we come ready to worship as a sacrifice of praise. Next week, we're gonna look at our core value of serving, and then we're gonna get into evangelism, sharing our faith, and generosity. And I want you to know that these are not things that we do. This is just who we are at Redemption, right? These core values are not a to-do list, they are a to-be list. Like, we're gonna be worshipers. We're gonna be in community. We're gonna be evangelists. We're gonna be servant-hearted leaders, and we are going to be a generous church. These are the core values that make up Redemption as our church family. And I want you to know something, is that this series will close at the 10-year anniversary since the day we started the church. 10 years. Can we give God some thanks for gratitude, for his faithfulness to us here at Redemption? 10 years. And over these 10 years, I'll be honest with you, a lot has changed in the church. A lot has changed, and praise God for that. We used to do this day every year for our anniversary. It was Dressed Like Pastor Byron Sunday. True story, true story. And so on one Sunday every year, everyone dressed in all black. Any visitors walking in were like, "Is this a cult? What is going on here?" Like even my like grandmother dressed black t-shirt, black jeans. I mean, it was, the church has changed, okay? But you know what? The vision is still the same. Here's the vision, is that we help people experience life change through Jesus. Every man, woman, and child to experience life change through Jesus. From the kids in the back to the students on Wednesday nights, from first Wednesday prayer meetings to Sundays and small groups and serve teams. Why do we do what we do? So that way we can help as many people as possible experience life change through, Come on, let's say that again. Life change through? Jesus. One more time, life change through? Jesus. So how do we do that? That's what this series is about. So we're gonna look at our second core value today, and that is our core value of community, of being involved in what God is doing here in the church. And I think that this is probably one of the most relevant, not important, but the most relevant of the core values right now. I mean, think back to 2020. Anybody remember COVID Anybody tried to forget COVID? Come on, somebody, right? Well, with all of the quarantine and social distancing that people did, it actually created a negative habit and impact on our culture to where now research is showing that people are more isolated, people are more lonely and distant than ever before. That we've changed real friends for Facebook friends, right? You're like, I got 1,000 friends. No, you don't. Research actually shows that in the last 20 years, the average American has went from 3 personal friends to now they report having 1. You have 1,000 people who know you on Facebook, but you have no real relationships in your life. And this is just having a compounding effect because instead of sharing meals with each other, now we just share memes. No real conversation, but I did DM you this meme that I saw. Right? Instead of hanging out, now we're just vegging out, staring at our phones, consuming, rather than actually participating in life-changing type relationships. And research has shown that people are lonelier than they have ever been. I got some statistics that I want to read to you that I looked up this week. So 47% of people report that their relationships are not meaningful. 41% report not having a best friend. 52% of Americans feel left out. 58% of Americans report that they feel like there is no one to listen to them. Millennials rank highest in US history for loneliness. 30% of millennials report feeling lonely. Gen Z is not doing well because there are 22% claim that they have no personal friends. The bottom line is this, is that loneliness is a problem, but the Bible has the answer. And what is the answer to that? It is Christian community. We call it Redemption Church. It's the church. It's the local church. It is the answer to the epidemic of loneliness. Now, there's some people who are going to say that I went to church and I tried it and it didn't work. Can I just tell you, right, that 5 minutes in the lobby is not going to serve a lifetime of loneliness. Right, you're not gonna get everything you need in 90 minutes on a Sunday. That's not where you're developing relationships. Well, I went to church and, I tried it and, I went and nobody talked to me. I'll kind of tell you a little bit why. It's because sometimes people come in and they just stand off in the corner and they're like, nobody talked to me. And it's like, well, to have a friend, you also have to be a friend. Put on a smile, right? Go to the Connect desk, fill out a Connect card. Let somebody get to know your name, all right? And so people come into the church, are like, I want you to fix all my problems, but you're not gonna get it solved in 5 minutes when it takes for you to check in your kids in Redemption Kids. That's not where you're gonna build relationship at. You're not gonna build relationships with a high five in a lobby. That's not real authentic relationships take place on the Sunday morning. No, if you're taking notes, write this down, is that relationships don't happen in the lobby, they happen where? In the living room. It's when we begin to do life together. You got to understand that if your definition of church is just the 90 minutes that happens on a Sunday, your definition of church is too small because there's so much more of what God is doing amongst this community. Relationships happen when we open up our hearts, when we open up our homes, when we take off the mask, when we get real, when we invite people into our lives to encourage us, to motivate us, to challenge us, to be able to speak life into those parts of us and to do life. Listen, if you want to experience life change, we got to learn how to do life together. Because relationships don't happen in a lobby. Where do they happen? They happen in the living room when we begin to do life together. Listen, here's how important it is in the Bible. Whenever God made Adam, he put him in the garden and he said everything was good, but one thing. You know what the one thing was? It was not good for man to be alone. It's the same thing that's true for you. It's not good for your heart, for your soul, or for your spiritual walk with Jesus for you to be alone. We're gonna need other people if we wanna be able to experience life change. And so what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna read out of Mark chapter 3, starting in verse 13, and I wanna show you how Jesus started his launch team for the first church. This is the first thing that Jesus does as he gets ready to enter into his life and ministry. And I wanna show you how Jesus valued authentic community so that way we can value this community for ourselves here at redemption. Let me read it all, and then I'll give you 3 ways that we build community. Let me read it up front. Mark 3:13-19. And he, that's Jesus, went up on the mountain, and he called to him those whom he desired, and they came to him. And he appointed the 12, whom he also named apostles, so that they might be with him, and that he might send them out to preach and to have authority to cast out demons. Now, the first thing that you're gonna notice when you read this is that it's in Mark chapter 3, which is pretty early in the book. So at this point, it's the very beginning of the life of Jesus. Now, Jesus is a pretty big deal, okay? Right? He went on and he changed the world. Most important person who's ever walked the planet. I mean, this is the Son of God who has come down on a rescue mission to seek and to save the lost. I mean, we're talking about Jesus here. And do you know what Jesus' first thing he did was? He joined a small group. I don't think you get it though. Listen, if it was important for Jesus to be in a small group, how much more important is it for you to be in a small group? I mean, if Jesus valued community, how much more important should we value community? If Jesus if there was anybody who didn't need nobody, it would be God. But what does he do? He chooses relationship. He chooses to call people to himself. He chooses to welcome us in. Like if Jesus needed relationship to be able to fulfill the call of God on his life, how much more important do we need relationship if we want to be able to fulfill the call of God in our life? Listen, church, there is no such thing as DIY discipleship. See, people think it all the time. They're like, I just got my personal relationship with Jesus, which is great, but that's only part of it because we're supposed to love God and love people, right? You just got the vertical. You need some horizontal in your life. There's no DIY discipleship. You can DIY your kitchen. You can DIY your couch, right? You can DIY whatever it is. Go on YouTube. You can download it. You can figure it out and how to do it. But you cannot DIY your discipleship to Christ because we need other people if we want to begin to look more like Jesus. So you're wondering, why at Redemption Church are we constantly telling you, fill out a Connect card, get to know somebody, go to Serve 101, go to Next Steps, join a small group, join a Serve team, become a member. Why do we keep casting this vision every single week? Because here's what we want. We want you to look like Jesus and to experience life change through Jesus. Like when you start serving, hey, you're gonna experience life change through Jesus. When you start worshiping, you're gonna experience life change through Jesus. When you get in a small group and be in community, you're gonna experience life change through Jesus. As you start sharing your faith with evangelism, you're gonna begin to look like and experience life change through Jesus. And when you begin to give with a generous heart, you're gonna begin to experience life change through Jesus. We do that together as a church family. There is no such thing as DIY discipleship. People be like, I don't need church. You know what? You don't need a parachute to jump out of an airplane either, but it sure does help. But we need each other if we're going to really experience life change. And that's why we value here at Redemption community. Because if it was important to Jesus, how much more important should it be for us? So let me give you 3 things that we're going to look for to build an authentic community. The first thing we look for is this. Number 1 is you want to find a community that follows Jesus. Look what he says here. It says this, verse 13, and he, that's Jesus, went up on the mountain and he called to those whom he desired and they came to him. And then he appointed the 12 whom he also called the apostles so that they might, what is that? Be with him. I love that it starts here because it starts with Jesus. Notice this, that Jesus chooses them. He goes up to the top of the mountain and then he picks the disciples that he wants to follow him. Okay, I love that because 1, it starts with prayer. Like some of us, we need to be praying about finding a community, praying about the people that we are surrounding ourselves with, praying for our community. It starts with prayer. And so he prays and then he picks 12 people that he wants to be his disciples so that way he can do life with. And guess what? Jesus picks them. And guess what? Jesus picked you. That's how this works. that Jesus chooses those whom he wants to be with. And guess what? Jesus picked you too. This is amazing. This is flashbacks to like fourth grade dodgeball. Okay, anybody remember like fourth grade getting lined up against the wall, having team captains pick, right? Who you're on my team, you're on my team. Anybody like me picked last? Okay, open altars at the end of the service. We're gonna pray for that childhood wound. Like me, picked last. I was a short, chubby, awkward kid with like a 2-inch vertical, all right? I sweat like Mike Tyson in a spelling bee. But Jesus picked me. He picked me. Oh, it feels so good. Jesus picked you too. But watch this. It's now they have a choice. What do they have to do? They have to respond. This is how salvation works, is that Jesus initiates it and we respond. So Jesus picks them, but they have to follow him. I don't know about you, but I want to be in community with people who are following after Jesus. Listen, if you people are either leading you to Jesus or they're leading you from Jesus. I want to be with people who are going to lead me to him, who are going to walk with me, who are going to motivate me, who are going to challenge me, who are going to encourage me. And when I'm feeling down, they're going to pick me up and they're going to keep pointing me to Jesus. I want to be in a community that is constantly following after Jesus. See, some of us, we pick our friends from different parts of life. Sometimes it's your work friends. Sometimes it's like your high school friends. You kind of pick your friends based upon nostalgia. Sometimes it's a hobby or an interest, or maybe they're just your next door neighbors. Sometimes people, pick friends based upon their past, but listen, you don't live there anymore. That's not who you are. And so we need to be very careful about who we allow to be able to speak into our life. Am I saying you can't have non-Christian friends? No, that's not what I'm saying. I have non-Christian friends. I talk to people at the gym all the time. But I'm not gonna open up my soul and my inner sanctum to allow them to speak into me. And this is important because you want to have somebody who's not just giving you good advice or helping you have good times. You want to surround yourself with people who are going to preach the good news, who are going to preach the gospel to you and help you experience life change through Jesus. Listen, sometimes it's not what you need to change. Sometimes it's who. It's who you need to change. Question: are these people leading you to him or are they leading you from him? I just made a decision that I wanna walk with people who are following after Jesus. That's who I'm opening my heart and soul up to be able to speak into my life. I love this saying. It's trite but true. Here's what it says. Show me your friends and I will show you your future. Amen. You are the sum total of the 3 closest people in your life. Look around, right? I mean, if you're hanging out with Larry, Curly, and Mo, don't be surprised when you're acting like a stooge, right? I get it. You go out with your boys, your small group is Jose Cuervo, Jack Daniels, and Jim Beam. Maybe you need to find a better small group to be able to do life with. Because think about who you are near is eventually who you are going to be like. Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. This is why small groups are so important. This is why community within the local church is so important, because you want to be around people who are going to motivate you to follow after Jesus. That's number one. Number two is this, is you want to be able to find a community that serves a purpose. Watch this. I love this. It says, and he, that's Jesus, watch, he appointed the 12 of whom he named apostles so that they might be with him. Hallelujah. He went up to the top of the mountain and he said, come, let's hang out together. Come just be with me. Sounds amazing, right? So that he might send them out to preach. Wouldn't it be amazing if all we had to do to really live our purpose was just come to church on Sunday? Wouldn't that just be amazing? If we could just stay on this mountain forever, Jesus. Oh, thank you for choosing us. We're going to go up to the top of this mountain and we're never going to leave. We're just going to sit in your presence with our journal and our matcha. and we're going to have intercessory prayer until the Lord returns. That's not what he says. Imagine if these disciples never got up the mountain. None of us would be here. See, listen. The gospel was never meant to stay on the mountain. The gospel was meant to become a movement that would transform it and change cities, nations, and the world. Right? We got to recognize that the church was never meant to be the mountain. We were meant to be the movement, which is why you want to find a community that actually serves a purpose. See, you were made by God on purpose and for a purpose, and God has a plan for your life. He has given you gifts and talents, passions, desires that are inside of you, and you will never unlock those passions while you're up on the mountain. It only comes whenever you get sent out to go and minister to the world around you. Got to be a community that serves a purpose. Listen, I love church. I love this thing that we're doing right here this Sunday morning. I love the worship gathering. I love the songs. I love preaching. I love everything that happens. I love shaking hands and high fives, and I love being able to give out the suckers to kids right here on the front row. Like, I love the serve team. I love church. I love conferences. I love reading books. I love listening to podcasts. I love everything church. But did you know that the church was not meant to be on the mountaintop? We were called to become a movement that would transform and change the world. And that only happens whenever we begin to find a community that helps us live out our purpose. Hebrews 10 says it like this. It says, let us consider how to stir one another up for love and good works. That's what we're doing. We're stirring each other up right now. Do not neglect the gathering, but gather together to stir one another up for love and what? For good works. Your good works are happening out there in your neighborhoods. They're happening in your community. They're happening in your homes, around the dining room table. They're happening at the coffee shop. They're happening in line at HEB. They're happening whenever you invite somebody from the lobby into your life and you take them out and you go sit down with dinner and you ask them, how is your soul? And tell me your story. That's where life change begins to take place. Not just on the Sunday, but what happens between these two Sundays is where community is found, right? Serve a purpose. Serve a purpose with your life. Every single person in here, man, God has so much good for you. And he never intended for church to be something that you come to, but rather the church would be people who are being sent out. The church is not a place that we go. It's a people who go. It's not what we do. It's who we are in our daily lives. And so I'm going to motivate you to stop being a spectator and start being a participator. To stop being a consumer of religious goods and services and start being a contributor into the kingdom of God, because he has a great plan and a purpose for each and every single one of you. You want to find a community that serves a purpose. And some of you are like, I feel like he's trying to get me to do something. I am, because I want you to do something with your life. I want you to make a difference in this world. And so, I think he wants me to join a small group. I do, because I want you to look like Jesus. I think he wants me to serve. I do, because I want you to look like Jesus. I hope he doesn't ask me to serve in kids. I will, because they're the most like Jesus. Jesus said, let the children come to me. Right? I want you to serve. I want you to be involved. You know, some people pick churches for different reasons. Sometimes people pick a church because they like the preaching, they think the pastor's funny. Just saying, I don't know. Hypothetically. Some people pick it because of the worship, which is amazing. I love it. Some people pick the church because of the kids. Me and Ashley, we've been on several cruises, and we're always trying to figure out what's like the best cruise line, you know? I was talking with somebody the other day, and they're like, he used to work for Viking Cruises. He was telling me all about how amazing it is. Other people, Royal Caribbean, some people, Carnival, whatever it is. And there's different ships and there's different places to go eat and different restaurants and different ports and different destinations. And that's how sometimes people pick a church, right? I like this kids ministry. I like this preaching. I like this worship. And they pick the church like they're kind of picking out a cruise ship. But that's not what the church is. The church isn't a cruise ship. We're a battleship sent out on a purpose to be able to reach the lost, to be able to preach the gospel, to be able to see lives changed, souls saved, addictions be broken, hope lifted, to be able to see baptisms on a regular basis, to be able to dedicate children, raise up leaders, send out missionaries, and advance the kingdom of God. Church, we are not a cruise ship, we're a battleship. We're not a museum for saints. What are we? We're a movement that is going to transform this region. Find a community that challenges you to live a life of purpose. And lastly, number 3, is that we want to be a community. Find a community that brings freedom. Look what it says. And he, again, Jesus, I only got 3 verses, guys, all right? So this is doing pretty good. And he went up to the mountain and he called to him those whom he desired, and they came to him, and he appointed the 12, whom he also named apostles, so that they might be with him. Praise you, Jesus. And then he sent them out to preach. All right, 3 things. 1, find you a community that follows Jesus. 2, find you a community that serves a purpose. And 3, watch this, verse 15. It's amazing. And to have the authority to cast out demons. At this point, I'm going to call our prayer team up to release the snakes. I'm just joking. First Wednesday, we'll give it a go, right? Say, what kind of church is this? It's a tongue-talking, devil-stomping, snake-releasing church, all right? 2 of those 3 are true. But what is this meaning? This means that every single person, we all have our struggles. Some of your struggles are demonically inspired. Some of your struggles are self-inflicted. Like, we're not going to blame the devil for everything. But at the same time, we got to take responsibility for our own selves. And I want to be around a community of people who are not afraid to cast out some demons. I want to be around some people who have the authority to be able to see people set free. You got to understand is that there's a difference between forgiveness and freedom. Right? The moment you meet Jesus, you are forgiven. But freedom is something you have to walk out. Right? You're saved. Sanctification, now that's a process, right? I mean, like, life change takes a lifetime. Like, my testimony is this. I met Jesus at the age of 20. 20 years old, strung out on drugs, me and Ashley living together, sleeping together, partying all the time, sitting in jail. Ashley said, I want to go to church. And I thought that was a terrible idea. But she was cute, so I agreed to go. Right? Some of you guys, I know your tricks, right? She's like, I want to go to church. You're like, all right, we'll go just this one time, and we'll go back to our life. That's what I thought. That's not what happened. The Lord met me. And I got up at the end of that message, and I ran down to these altars. That's why I encourage you every week to come into these altars. I ran down into the altars. I got on my knees. And I don't remember what it was. It wasn't the worship. It wasn't the sermon. It wasn't the coffee. But the Lord grabbed my heart. And I ran down in these altars and I began to pray. And I would love to tell you that that day I was set free from everything. And some of you, that's your story, but that's not mine. Some of you, it will happen. Some of you will get deliverance. But we all need discipleship. And so I got up from there, and you know what I did? I went right back into my addictions. 2 years struggling with addiction. after giving my life to Jesus. And I continued to press in despite what was happening around me. I remember one day I went up to the church and I think I was drunk. Like I had been up partying all night before, probably smelled like weed and regret. And I walked into church hungover, and as I was leaving, the pastor came up and he put his arm around my shoulder and he goes, "How are you doing?" And I was tempted, like good Christians are, to say, "I'm doing fine." But that's just not how I get down. So I said, "You know what? I'm really struggling." And that pastor, his name is David Burkheimer, since gone on to be with the Lord. He grabbed me by the shoulder and he pulled me in and he said, "Byron, I don't really care what you do on a Saturday night as long as you're here on a Sunday morning." And I felt so seen. And I felt like I belonged. And he told me, he said, the more you follow Jesus, the more freedom you're gonna find. So just keep showing up. And that's why we've had those words keep showing up on the lobby, and we're gonna put them up in our new lobby. Because those 3 words changed my life. For me, getting clean, getting sober, honoring God in my relationship, getting married to Ashley, called to ministry, right? Like there's 12-step programs, which are amazing. There's AA, NA, there's Celebrate Recovery. There's counseling and therapy. There's a lot of places you can go. But for me, what brought the freedom in my life, it was a local church. It was when I kept showing up, when I joined on a serve team, when I got involved in a small group. I started our first small group as new believers, and now out of that small group, I still talk to them. Like my accountability partners are 2 men that are from that small group 20 years ago. Some of them are still in this church because the relationships that I formed, they went beyond the lobby. They went into the living room. They went into the heart. They went into the life. And they're still walking with me today through all of this. And I just want to encourage you, church. Like when you get real with others and God begins to do a real deep work in your life. The way I put it in your notes is this, is the people that make the church messy are the people that make the church meaningful. I want you to know I'm not scared of your mess. I'm not scared of it. You know why? Because we know what to do with sin. We bring it to Jesus and he'll deal with it. He works in the hearts. He transforms and he changes lives. Like I don't want to go to a perfect church. I don't want to go to a clean church. Do you know why? Because one, there's no such thing as a perfect church. All right? Because if you go to a perfect church, you finally found it, don't join it because you ain't perfect. You're gonna ruin it for everybody else because it was perfect before you came in there. You're like, well, I think I'm pretty perfect. You're the worst. You know why? Because you have pride. That's what got Satan kicked out of heaven. It's not gonna get you in. Right? We all got junk in our lives, things we're working on. Jesus is still working in all of us. I'm not afraid of the mess. Like I love our church. I love it because a perfect church is an empty church. A perfect church, there ain't nobody getting baptized in a perfect church. You know why? Because they're not reaching the lost. The perfect church has a children's ministry with no kids. The perfect church doesn't send out missionaries. The perfect church doesn't have a prayer team because y'all don't need it. The perfect church ain't casting out demons, therefore they're not fulfilling God's plan for them. I don't want to go to a perfect church. I love our church because in our church, get this, we have lawyers sit next to convicts. We got doctors sitting next to people with illnesses. We got hope dealers and we got dope dealers who come to this church. I don't want to go. I want to go to a church that has a hot mess express and a struggle bus in the parking lot. That's the church that I want to go to, because that's the church that is reaching the lost. That's the church that's following Jesus. That's the church that's fulfilling a purpose. And that's the church that got authority to cast out demons. I want you to know it's okay to not be okay. But it's not okay to stay that way. Because he wants to forgive you and he wants to free you. He wants to save you. He wants to sanctify you. He wants for you to experience the freedom that comes with Jesus. The same people that make the church messy are the same people that give the church meaning. And so if you come to Redemption, just know, we a messy church. And you know what? God is moving in this church. And so here's my challenge for you, is that when you feel like you don't belong, keep showing up. When you feel like you're alone, keep showing up. When you feel like you don't deserve it, just keep showing up. Because you never know the Sunday that's going to change your life, but I can tell you it's not the one that you miss. You never know what small group is going to be the one that you get breakthrough, but I can tell you it's not the one that you miss. You never know what day you come down to these altars and open up your heart to receive prayer is going to be the day that you get your deliverance, but I can tell you it's not the day that you skip. You never know the group of people who are going to walk with you in discipleship through the darkest days of your life and the greatest joys that you experience, but you can guarantee it's not going to be the days that you don't show up. So what is my challenge for us? If we want to build an authentic community, 3 words, just keep showing up. Because when you show up, God will show out in your life. So just keep showing up. So how do we do that here at Redemption? I'll give you 5 practical takeaways. Number 1 is this. Fill out the Connect card. If you've been coming for a bit and you're not connected, fill out the Connect card. Come see us in the lobby. Fill out that Connect card. We want to get to know your name. You can tap the sticker in the back. You can fill out the Connect card. Get connected. We're going to follow up with you this week. Number 2, every first Sunday of the month, we have Next Steps. It's your opportunity to meet the team and to find your place here at Redemption. We do Next Steps every first Sunday of the month. Number 3 is to join a serve team. As you join a serve team, man, you're gonna fulfill a purpose in your life. Speaking of serve teams, we're having worship auditions. We're always looking for people to join our worship team. Worship auditions will be on January 24th. If you can play an instrument, if you can sing, man, we would love for you to help us fulfill our core value of worship on a Sunday morning. We're also always looking to add people to our kids team, to our environment teams. Everything that makes Redemption possible is because of our serve team. Yesterday, we had a funeral for a young man who was on our serve team. And we just sent a text out, because you can never plan for a funeral, and we just sent a text out, and we had the parking team here, we had the ushers here, we had the prayer team here, we had the production team here. It's so much more than what happens on a Sunday. We are Redemption. And when a family in our church needed us, our teams were there in that moment. Can we give it up for all of our serve teams? Come on. I loved it. The young man was 26 years old, died a sudden tragic death. And our parking team was there. He was on the parking team. And the parking team actually took their serve team badge, wrote his name in permanent marker, and gave it to the family. This young man was Ubering from Lake Charles, 1 hour, Ubering every Sunday from Lake Charles to Beaumont so he could serve his church. That's authentic community. Be a part of a team. Number 4, be a part of a small group. Small group is when we begin to do life together. Small group interest meeting is going to be January 31st. We're looking for small group leaders. Our goal for this year is that we would have 80% of our church involved in a small group. To be honest, we have always been a very Sunday-centric church, but we want to mature into a new level here. Like a lot has changed, and this is going to be one of the things that is going to change. Is the vision's the same, but we're going to be putting double the effort into making sure that this core value now is implemented for the future of our church. So our goal is 80%. By the end of the year, 80% of our church will be involved in a small group. So we're looking at increasing our small group leaders, so that way we can increase our small group participation. So if you've ever been interested in leading a small group, being a part of a small group, or if you just want to come and be a part of the community and you have no interest, but you don't have anything else to do on January 31st, then you can come and you can be a part of that. And then number 5 is to go all in with church membership. On January 24th, we're having a membership one day. That's where you begin to call the church home. That's when you go all in, you make it official. Say, this is my family, these are my people, this is my community. I'm going all in here. Why? Because we want to help people experience life change through Jesus. And that happens when we do life together. It's not good, God says, for us to do life alone. In our culture and our world, people are hurting, suffering, and lonelier than ever before. The world has a problem, but the Bible has a solution, and it is the local church. And I would love for you to find a church that you can call home. I think redemption's pretty great, and I would love for it to be redemption. But my greatest desire is that you would find a place that you can live out this value of community. If it was important for Jesus, how much more church should it be for us?